Hello, today we will be starting about the antiviral agent. That is for medicinal chemistry, sixth semester. So here we will be studying about the amantadine, different drugs, about the antiviral drugs. That is amantadine hydrochloride, rimantadine hydrochloride, pyridoxine trifluoride, acyclovir, ganciclovir, zidovudine, diadenosine, zalcitabine, lamivudine, loviride, telviradine, ribavirin, sacubitril, indinavir, itumab. Now, first of all, we should know what is virus. Then we will be discussing their mechanism of action. These are the agents which used in the treatment of viral infection. So we know viruses are obligate intracellular parasites that depend on the metabolic process of the cell for the replication. Virus consists of either RNA or DNA encased in a protein coat and a lipoprotein. So whenever you can see here the structure, lipoprotein envelope, whenever the DNA or RNA that is coming into contact with the host cell, it will be liberated out and it will be replicated, and again it will be having a lipoprotein envelope and it will be coming into action. So these viruses are very making different deadly diseases. So first of all, you should know some of the bacteria there which are, some of the viruses are there which are having DNA and some are RNA viruses. So for the DNA viruses, there are pox viruses, smallpox, herpes virus, varicella zoster, simplex, chicken pox, shingly, cold sore, adenoviruses, papillomaviruses, and there are some RNA viruses like orthomyxoviruses, influenza, which is causing influenza, then pneumomyxoviruses, rubella virus, rhabdoviruses, picornaviruses, retroviruses. Okay. Next, there are adenoviruses, hepatinoviruses, abroviruses, like this. So this drug causes viruses in the host cell. So first the viruses is attached to the host cell and form backbone. Attachment is facilitated by polypeptide binding site on the envelope or capsid, which interact with the receptor or host cell. These receptors are generally for cytokines, NTS. NT means nucleoside transcriptase. Different hormones are there. Next, different they reduce the attachment, and immunogamma glycoproteins are there. These agents inhibiting host cell by penetration of the different, what can I say, receptor. Now again we have to go for the different viral infection and the receptor like HIV. So the HIV will be affecting the helper T lymphocyte or CD4 glycoprotein or CCR5 receptor for chemokines, and different receptors are there which will be binding. Now rabies virus that are acetylcholine receptor on a skeletal muscle. Then there are some adenoviruses which are MHC molecules. They are active on the MHC molecules. Okay. Next, infantile diarrhea viruses, beta adrenoreceptor like this. Now coming to the uncoating. Uncoating of the viral DNA and RNA by host cell. First of all, the virus is attached to the host cell and they uncoat their genetic material. Okay. So this type of uncoating can be prevented by amantadine, rimantadine, these are the drug used in RTI, respiratory tract infection, in respiratory syncytial virus, different influenza, cough, cold. This problem can be given by the different viruses, influenza viruses. But we are using different antiviral drug as well as antibacterial drug also. Now there are replication synthesis and protein synthesis which are occurring whenever the viruses are coming to the host. Different enzymes are responsible like reverse transcriptase, protease inhibitor. So this reverse transcriptase, what happens? Viral RNA produces viral DNA by reverse transcriptase enzyme. That can be inhibited by the reverse transcriptase dependent inhibitor. That is known as the antiretrovirus. And these are the drug known as the NRTI, non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor. They are known as the zidovudine, lamivudine, stabudine, diadenosine. Then non-NRTI, that is a nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor like aviram, telaviridine, epivirins. These are the drugs. Now coming to the protease inhibitor, that is one of the protease enzyme which help in the synthesis of protein viruses. So here the HIV-1 protease inhibitor is a drug that is known as a NaPi, which can inhibit the enzyme that perform protein lysis, protein catabolism by hydrolysis of peptide bond. Okay. Now there are another category of the drugs like DNA synthesis inhibitor, and they inhibit the DNA synthesis, that is the anti-herpes simplex cytomegaloviruses, bRNA polymerase inhibitor, protein synthesis inhibitor, assembly. They sometimes some of the antiviral drugs prevent the assembly of the virus particle and body. Then some of the drugs released by lysis, that is the genetic material released by the lysis process. Now coming to the drug classification, that is the drug classified according to the virus replication. Now we will be coming to the drug classified will be treatment and treatment of herpes and treatment of HIV infection. According to the infection, the drugs are classified. So for the treatment of respiratory virus infection, advantan derivative, amantadine, amantadine. Treatment for herpes and cytomegalovirus infection like purine nucleoside, purine nucleotide, pyrimidine, phosphorus derivative there are. Treatment for the HIV infection, that is reverse transcriptase inhibitor are there. That is having purine derivative. Example is a tyrosine, pyrimidine derivative, zidovudine, non-nucleoside inhibitor like nevirapine, belavir. There are some protein inhibition, saquinavir drugs. Protease inhibition, integration inhibition, treatment of hepatitis C virus infection, that is Previn, Azunapivir, and different drugs are there. So we have to remember 2 to 3. Now coming to the different drugs structure and their mechanism and their uses, like advantan derivatives. So first of all, we show the structure. This is amantadine hydrochloride. Actually, this is a taken cyclic ring where it is specially categorized by the tricyclic saturated hydrocarbon. You can see 1, 2, 3. Tricyclic ring is there, and more precisely it is the tricyclic 3311 decane cage. It's a decane. See, you can structure the number from here: 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So this is known as the tricyclodecane 1 amine. The one position amine is there. So if it is remained hydrochloride, then the amine group substituted with phenamine. So this is one of the important structure of the antiviral drugs. So advantan derivative, active against only influenza virus. It is also used in the management of Parkinson's disease, stimulate the release of dopamine nerve terminal and the presynaptic effect. Now coming to the mechanism, amantadine, rimantadine inhibit the initiation of transcription, that is the vDNA to rDNA, vRNA to vDNA on an early stage between the uncoating and viral system virus. They inhibit the viral replication by interfering with the influenza A virus M2 protein, integral membrane of the protein, and further leads to interfere with the uncoating process and prevent the viral particle assembly during replication. Example like influenza, RTI, reverse transcriptase inhibitor, respiratory tract infection, and syncytial virus infection also used in the idiopathic. These are the structure we have seen again. Now this is one of the example, hydroxyuridine, that is anti-herpes pyrimidine nucleoside, anti-herpes virus nucleoside. And it is containing one uridine ring and one iodine along with this. See, zoom it. Okay. Hydroxyuridine, and the name is 1,4-hydroxy 5-hydroxymethyl. See, 5-hydroxymethyl group. Tetrahydrofuran, it's known as a tetrahydrofuran. One oxygen containing 5-membered ring is known as a furan, and it is as it is saturated that way tetrahydro its name. Okay, 5-hydropyrimidine. Now it is substituted pyrimidine, thymidine analog. Actually, thymidine analog inhibit DNA synthesis by inhibiting the thymidylate phosphorylase and vDNA polymerase. Hydroxyuridine gets phosphorylated within the cell as phosphate derivative and is incorporated in DNA and it is used in the treatment of superficial itch, simplex keratoconjunctivitis as a 0% eye ointment applied every 4 hours during the day and once at bedtime at 0.1% eye drop. One drop instilled on the conjunctivitis sac every hour during day and every 2 hours during day. So the cornea or the eye can be keratinized, that can be treated with this iodoxine. Now coming to the acyclovir, the important drug. This acyclovir is synthesized, and the synthesis you have to remember that will be discussed in your class, and you have to study in a very vast manner. Now it is against active against the herpes virus, particularly herpes simplex virus HSV type 1. The herpes virus contains a specific thymidine kinase which phosphorylates acyclovir to its monophosphate. Further phosphorylation is by host cell guanosine monophosphate kinase to the diphosphate, which is then phosphorylated to acyclovir triphosphate. Acyclovir triphosphate inhibits herpes virus DNA polymerase, and it is also incorporated into viral DNA and terminates biosynthesis of DNA strand. So shortly you can write acyclovir thymidine kinase, a monophosphate that is converted with the help of guanosine monophosphate kinase and acyclovir triphosphate which inhibit the virus DNA polymerase. It is used in the treatment of infection due to herpes simplex virus and varicella zoster virus and epistin virus. Now there are another drug like ganciclovir, didenosine, that is anti-HIV derivative, that is the inosine analog. Okay. There is a purine gene is there. It is the zerovurin. It also helps in the, it also inhibits the reverse transcriptase enzyme, which is responsible for the conversion of viral DNA to viral RNA viral DNA. It is used in the treatment of AIDS. This is also used in the treatment agent, antimetabolite, anti-state agent like this. Anti-HIV pyrimidine derivative, reverse transcriptase inhibitor like Z2B. This is one of the important drug for the anti-HIV, and the mechanism is like same. Anti-HIV or AIDS or this is a retrovirus. Different retrovirus can be through this drug. It is also used as an antiviral agent, antimetabolic, anti-neoplastic agent. Another drug is jalcitabine, lamivudine. Anti-HIV non-lymphocyte reverse transcriptase inhibitor is there. That is noviride. Inhibit the reverse transcriptase enzyme and inhibit the RNA replication. Different way the HIV virus can be used in HIV infection and chronic hepatitis B infection. Delaviridine, some viral mRNA polymerase inhibitor is there that inhibits the viral mRNA. Retroviral protease inhibitor are there, sacrinab, having a larger chain. Indinavir, ritonavir, these are the larger chain where the hydro is there. Okay. So you can remember the name or you can write the structure or you have to practice. So up to this I am completing here. Thank you everyone.